James in Harrow saw the events today. Let's hear what he thought of them. James, welcome to the show.
Good evening, George. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Tell me, what did you see?
Well, George, what can I say? I'm completely impartial. Don't say that I'm taking any sides here or anything, but what actually happened was I came out of Harrow train station, I walked home, and I'm literally 100 yards from the incidents. And what happened was there was about 1,000, I say 1,000, there might have been 500 to 1,000, but I read on the internet there was 1,000. But there was about, there was certainly much more Muslim fundamentalists who were in force.
How did you know they were fundamentalists?
Well, George, come on.
No, you come on.
They had balaclavas on.
You tell me how you knew.
Around their heads.
You tell me how you knew that they were fundamentalists.
George,
That's what I want. I want details. Give me details.
George, they had balaclavas around their heads.
Remember, you're impartial now, yeah?
Yeah, George. I'm honestly not trying to. So I'm not trying to go down that road.
At 100 yards, you could tell that they were all fundamentalists.
George, if I saw somebody with a balaclava around their head, I would think to myself, well, they're fundamentalists.
I'm just wondering how at 100 yards you managed to be so definite. Well, but go on, tell me more.
I actually walked through it. I wasn't 100. My house is 100 yards from it. I walked to my house, through it all. Now, anyway, the BNP. I'm going to call them the BNP, even though they were called the English Defence League. It's the same crowd, and they were kind of corralled. They were actually there to try and protest it, but there's only about 40 or 50 of them, I would have said, and they tried to protest against the mosque or whatever they were trying to protest against. And anyway, the Muslims chased them and back up past the station, and they were corralled into this kind of grassy verge, and the police held them there for about, I don't know, for however long. They ended up escorting the BNP out of the place, and
I should say the BNP were not officially there, yeah?
Well, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the same crowd. What I would say, though, is that when the police escorted them, and they're right underneath my window, they escorted them past my window and away from the whole scene. And I'm honestly, I was ashamed to be white, George, when I saw them. I thought to myself, my God.
Football thugs?
Well, I just thought to myself, why on earth do you everybody in Harrow gets on. I've got Muslim friends, Hindu friends, Jewish friends, and I can't believe that these people have made a big effort to come down to Harrow to try and protest against the mosque and the Muslims.
Did you think they were locals?
No, definitely not. I have never seen any of them, and I've lived in Harrow 15 years. You know, I'm Scottish, obviously, by my accent, but I've lived in Harrow 15 years, and I've never seen one. And then they walked right past me. They were paraded right past me, in front of my window. I mean, literally yards from my window. They were paraded by it. They were given a police escort out of the place. And I've never seen one of the faces, ever, in 15 years of living in Harrow.
Why do you think they chose Harrow?
Well, because of the new mosque that's built in Harrow, and they think of Harrow as maybe a flashpoint of the whole Islam versus the.
But you live near the mosque.
I'm 2 minutes from the mosque.
Have you ever had any problems?
George, look, I'm a Roman Catholic. I have no problems whatsoever in anybody practicing their beliefs. No problems whatsoever. In fact, I've got personal friends who are Muslims. Now, when I said fundamentalists, that wasn't Harrow Muslims that were there today. That was Muslims that come from other parts of the country.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when these things are organised, they're organised with the intention of provoking the people to defend themselves, and bear in mind that...
George, I understand why they've done it, but what I'm saying is that the majority of the people were Muslim fundamentalists, I would have said. Now, I know you picked up on the whole thing about how did you know from wherever 10 yards away that you knew they were fundamentalists. Of course, I didn't get into the whole thing. I was
just interested because, see, there is a class of person, and you're obviously not one of them, who looks at a Muslim and assumes automatically he's a fundamentalist.
If I see somebody with a mask around their face...
Oh, yeah, well, that's fair enough.
I think to myself, well, why have they got a balaclava around their face?
Hiding from the police, James. You'll remember that from Glasgow.
Well, I will, George, and you'll not know this, but I actually voted for you the first time you got in.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Yeah.
All the best, James, in Harrow.